بسم الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. اتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. As we finish talking about the Usool of Isa, the return from the Usool I'tiqad of Ahl-Sunnah is the belief that Isa ibn Maryam will return. And also likewise, we talked about the Dajjal. And likewise, he will be an actual person, and it's not folklore or fairy tale, and what we read to our children as a bedtime story. Rather, it is real. And the belief that he will walk on the earth, and him being the actual man, and he will be given those khawariq al-adat, from the affairs which we would say, for lack of better words, supernatural. So things we're not used or accustomed to seeing on a daily basis will occur and will happen. And likewise, Isa ibn Maryam is an actual man. And likewise, the Mahdi al-Muntadhar, not like in the ways of the Shia, what they say, but there is an actual Mahdi who will be for the mu'mineen, for the believers in the last days and times, who will what? Will actually be from the family of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and his name likewise will be Muhammad bin Abdullah, and actually he will return. He will be the Mahdi, or the one who will guide the Muslims, So we say, we finish talking about the coming and returning of Isa ibn Maryam, and we said returning because at one time he was on this earth, and he was a prophet and a messenger sent to Bani Israel, and he will return because he never died on the cross in the first place. He never was crucified, as the Jews did not kill him. They killed another man, and Allah put a resemblance on him. So they thought they killed Isa ibn Maryam, but Allah casted the resemblance of Isa upon that man, and they killed him in his place. So it was not Isa, but they thought they killed him. So we finished those affairs, we elaborated on them, and given accurate details as much as we could. And that is from, notice that Imam Ahmad made them from the Usool As-Sunnah. It's something that's from your i'tiqad, from the Usool of Ahl-Sunnah, is the belief in this. Why? Because we said there are people there outside now today that will misconstrue and also falsely interpret these texts. They will say actually Isa is not a man, or the Dajjal is not a man. Rather, they'll misinterpret it or misconstrue or twist the meaning by saying it will be a widespread disease or widespread germs, or they're a group of evil people. It's not an actual man, rather just a plague that would take place in the last days and times, and it will just kill and eradicate numerous of people. simultaneously, or he's not a man, it's actually an evil group of people. All those things are false and rejected by Kitab al-Sunnah, and that's the reason why Imam Ahmed made this from Usool As-Sunnah. He made it from the foundations of the Sunnah to have absolute belief in this without any reluctancy, and with wholehearted conviction that these things are real, and that a person has the absolute perfect creed and conviction in his heart and believe in these affairs, and that there are real live individuals that will be on this earth walking. And as far as the Dajjal, he'll be a test and a trial. Are you okay?
Don't worry about me.
But a test and a trial for the people. And the opposite of that, Isa ibn Maryam, will come back not as to give a new Sharia, but in order to aid the Muslims and help them fight in the battle against the Dajjal. But not to come with a new Sharia. That's not the function of Isa ibn Maryam. He will not come with a new Sharia and a new message. Rather, he will be what? Coming in order to enforce the Sharia of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So those principles we talked about and elaborated on, we finished, and now we'll talk about the new principle today, which is what I'm looking forward. And I was looking forward, but something came up. As usual, that's part of da'wah. But something that I look forward to speaking about, which is the new asl from the Usul Imam Ahmed rahimahullah, where he says, "Al-Iman qawlun wa amal, yazid wa yanqus, yazid wa yanqus." That Iman is qawlun wa amal. Notice Shaykh Rabi' hafidhahullah, when he put the tabweeb, or the title in the chapter, he says al-Iman qawlun wa amal. Notice that he didn't put what? I'tiqad. Does everyone notice that? If you look at your book, it doesn't say i'tiqad. Yazid wa yanqus. That is statement and actions, and it is what? It increases, or augments, or what? Decreases. J. Then he mentions the statement of Imam Ahmed, where he says, "Well, Iman qawlun wa amal." Notice he brought the statement of Imam Ahmed. It's not mentioned in it also likewise i'tiqad. I'll explain why. Don't worry. Yazid wa yanqus. This is what Imam Ahmed says, "Kama ja'a fil khabari, akmal al-mu'mineen imanan, ahsanuhum khuluqa." The most complete believers in their faith is those who are the best in their character. So Imam Ahmed uses a dalil, the evidence and proof to establish this matter that we're about to speak about right now, inshallah bi'idhnillah. So it says, "Wal iman qawlun wa amal." Notice that even the Shaykh hafidhahullah, Imam Rabi' ibn Hadi al-Madkhali, ibn Umayr ibn Hadi al-Madkhali hafidhahullah, that he mentioned and said that Iman is qawlun wa amal, but he didn't write i'tiqad. Why? You'll find that from the Imam of the past, the reason why they just put qawlun wa amal, qawlun wa amal, qawlun wa amal, qawlun wa amal, that is statement and action, statement and actions, statement and actions, they focused on this so much because they knew that i'tiqad was already understood. It's the reason why they didn't mention i'tiqad, because they knew that it was already understood, that it was something that was already, for example, as they say in Bab Tahsil al-Hasil, that's something that's already given. How are you going to come and not believe in it, but you're just saying it with actions? That's something that's already been given, that one already what? Believes it in his heart already. So the reason why you'll find that the Imam focusing on qawlun wa amal so much is because of the severe deviance of the deviant sects that actually went outside the i'tiqad of Ahl-Sunnah in regards to these two matters so much, especially in the aspect of amal, especially in the aspect of actions, in which we'll talk about bi'idhnillah. But the i'tiqad, or the belief in the heart, was something that was already given. You'll find that the Salaf, and likewise from the A'imma of this religion, those who are always focused on qawl wa amal because they know i'tiqad was already what? It was already known, it was already given. There was no need to mention it because it was already famous, it was known. The person doesn't have to keep saying i'tiqad, 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 because it was something that was known to the point where even Imam Rabi' even mentioned, he said iman, qawl wa amal. But we know from Ahl-Sunnah that or the meaning of iman is what? Firstly, what everyone? It's i'tiqad, or you say, belief in the what? The heart, statements with the actions. Statement with the tongue, and also what?
Action with the limbs.
Action with the limbs, and what?
Belief in the heart.
Conviction in the heart. We're also going to talk about, we talked about this before, I'm going to talk about it again. Qawl al-qalb wa amal al-qalb. You'll find from the Salaf who say that statement. Qawl al-qalb wa amal al-qalb. What's the difference? We'll talk about that right now. Even though we already spoke about it in Aqidat al-Salaf, but لا بأس أن نكرر فإن في التكرار فالتكرار أحلى. لا بأس we repeat some of what we talked about before. فإن التكرار أحلى. طيب. So in regards to what you see, notice that the Shaykh even mentioned, it says al-iman qawlun wa amal. And he said qawlul qalb wal lisan. Qawlul qalb wal lisan. What is the meaning of qawlul qalb wal lisan wa amal al qalb wal jawarih? Statement of the heart, and then you have actions of the heart. What statement of the heart? That's easy. Let's start statement of the heart. It's easy. You guys already know this, huh? Belief book. The shahada. La ilaha illallah. The asl. Shahadat la ilaha illallah. That's what? Qawl al-qalb. Qawl al-qalb. Which is also with the lisan, shahada. The shahada. La ilaha illallah. That is what they call qawlul qalb, the statement of the what? The heart and the tongue. Qawlul qalb is the i'tiqad and the belief in the iman, the shahada, of course. That's qawlul qalb. Qawlul lisan is mafhum, it's understood. طيب. Then you have amal al-qalb wal jawarih. What is the amal al-qalb? Amal al-qalb is the different aspects of worship. Al-khawf, al-raja, wal-rahba, wal-raghba, wal-isti'ala, wal-istighatha, wal-tawakkul. All those different acts of the ibadah is amal al-qalb. Amal al-qalb is the different actions of the heart. For example, the various different aspects of worship, such as al-rahba, wal-raghba, wal-raja, wal-khawf, والتوكل والاستعانة والاستغاثة to the end of it. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? The different aspects of worship, that's amal al-qalb. And then you have amal jawarih, which is clear. The actions of the what? The limbs. The actions of the limbs, I think this should be clear with everyone. طيب. That you will find from Ahl-Sunnah who give this ta'rif, this definition, that they say amal al-qalb, qawl al-qalb wal-lisan, wa amal al-qalb wal-jawarih. When they say that, this is what they're intended. When we say qawl al-qalb, it means the what? The i'tiqad, the belief of the asl that brings one to the fold of Islam, which is what? The shahada. Then you have qawl al-lisan, which is known, the statement with the tongue, should be known everyone, right? Everybody agree? Then you have amal al-qalb wal-jawarih, the actions of the heart. The actions of the heart, such as what? Khawf, raja, wal-raghba, wal-rahba, wal-isti'ana, wal-istighatha, wal-tawakkul, to the end of it. Those are all what they call a'mal al-qulub, the actions of the heart. And even, for example, fear, all of that is the actions of the heart. For example, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ وإذا تليت عليه آياته زادته إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. The موضع الشاهد من الآية where it says in the ayah إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم. Allah Ta'ala is mentioned and their hearts quiver. So the heart quiver, that's the action of the what? Heart, which is al-khawf. And also likewise, al-haya, as we'll talk about. Shyness is also a feeling of what is in the heart. طيب. All those different things in which Imam Rabi' even mentioned where he says وَقَوْلٌ وَعَمَلٌ وَقَوْلُ الْقَلْبِ وَاللِّسَانِ وَعَمَلُ الْقَلْبِ وَالْجَوَارِحِ. He said, or you can say, which everyone knows, al-iman qawlun wa amalun wa i'tiqad, that is statement, action, belief, and it increases or augments with obedience, and it decreases with disobedience. طيب. This is iman with the name of the ta'rif of Ahl-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah. يشاركهم الخوارج في أن الإيمان قول وعمل واعتقاد ولكنهم الإيمان لا يزيد وينقص. Notice the Shaykh is now started talking about the deviant sect called the Khawarij. He said the Khawarij have the belief in the Iman, that Iman, or they have the belief that Iman is قول وعمل واعتقاد, which is, so we just gave the first ta'rif. The second one of Ahl-Sunnah that we know is, you can say that Iman is what? قول وعمل واعتقاد يزيد الطاعة وينقص بالمعصية. That's known, and that is the correct belief. You can say either which one that we just mentioned firstly, or this one. As far as the Khawarij, especially the Qudama from the Khawarij, those who are upon the ways of the Khawarij, such as in these days and times as ISIS and Jabhat al-Nusra, or all those different deviant sects, Dawa'ish. For the most part, of course, we know they are the Khawarij. هذا العصر Khawarij هذا العصر. They are the Khawarij Mu'asirun. But in the times of old, you'll find the Khawarij. They believe what Ahl-Sunnah believe as far as the i'tiqad, the qawl, and the amal. The problem is they didn't believe that it would increase or decrease. You will find that the Khawarij and the Murji'ah are the same in this regard. The Khawarij and the Murji'ah, both are the same. Notice when we say Khawarij, we mean the Mu'tazila. And when we say the Murji'ah, we usually are talking about the Jahmiyyah. Always have that memorized. Notice that even when Shaykh al-Islam mentioned Aqidat al-Wasitiyah, he called the group of those who believed, of course what we're speaking about now, the i'tiqad, the qawl, al-amal, but those who went against Ahl-Sunnah in regards that Iman does not increase or decrease, he put in with them the Wa'idiyah. The Wa'idiyah. The Wa'idiyah who come under that category is the Khawarij and also the Mu'tazila together. Both. The Wa'idiyah are the Mu'tazila and the Khawarij. The only difference between the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila, they all consider Khawarij. They only differ as far as the hukum of the believer in his dunya. That's it. In the hereafter they say he's what? It's khalidun mukhalladun fi an-nar. Lirtikabihi al-kabair. As far as in the hereafter, the Mu'tazila and the Khawarij both believe that that the person who committed a major sin will be in the hellfire forever in the hereafter. However, they differ as far as in the hukm of the person in the dunya. That's it. The Mu'tazila say he's fi manzila bayn al-manzilatayn, and the Khawarij say he's a kafir. The Mu'tazila say that he's in a state between two states, and the Khawarij believe that he's a kafir in the dunya. Now the thing I want everyone to be attentive of, the Khawarij and the Murji'ah are both the same, even though, now we're going to go to the opposite. So the Khawarij are extreme as far as them being what? Too hot. all the different nusus and texts, which we're going to bring, inshallah, which all refutes them and rebuttals their false ambiguities that they believe, you'll find that likewise the Murji'ah, the same ahadith, how you can refute the Khawarij, also you can use the same ahadith to refute the Murji'ah. Both. Who are the Murji'ah? The Murji'ah, or people of Irja', are those, simply to keep it simple as possible, the Murji'ah are those who what? Remove actions from being what? From Iman. That's it. To keep it simple and plain as possible. When you hear the word Irja' or Murji'ah, what comes to your mind is that they remove actions out of what? Faith. That's it. The Murji'ah of these days and times you will find upon the tongues of the Awam. Shaykh Muhammad Amal Jabi, he used to say this in a lot of his lectures. He will say that you will find that this is a hila shaytaniyah, iblisiyah, in which a lot of the common folk fall into. For example, you'll ask an individual, why don't you fear Allah? Why don't you grow your beard? Why don't you wear your thobe? Why don't you pray 5 times a day? He said, Ya akhi, Iman is here in my heart. Iman is here. Iman is in my heart here. So basically, even though he doesn't know, but his lisan al-hal and lisan al-hal and lisan al-maqal, by his state, what he's saying, even though he probably doesn't realize it, and by his tongue, he's saying, actions is not from faith. Even though he's not saying that's what it was, in actuality, reality, that's what it's saying. I don't have to do those duties that you say I have to perform on a daily basis for my iman to be what? To be valid, or for it to be complete, or for it to be something that is obliged upon me in order for me to be Muslim. I don't have to do actions, I just do what is facilitated, so-called facilitated for me, and that's it. So you ask him, why don't you come Jumu'ah? Why don't you try to fast your month of Ramadan? Why don't you pray Hajj, pay Zakah? Also, try to work diligently and perform righteous actions. And also put forth your utmost effort in trying to be an upright individual. They say, Akhi, all that you're saying, I don't have to do that. Iman is here. That is a type of irja'. And that's the irja' in which the majority of the common folk in these days and times are plagued with. This. Even though they don't realize it, even though, and you'll find this shubha, and I heard this among some of people when I've talked to them, they say, Akhi, people, you can't call them kuffar, or you can't say that's irja', or that's irja', or that's... Akhi, even though the common folk don't know that's the group, still, the i'tiqad, the belief system that they carry, if it agrees with the deviant sect of the Khawarij, we call it irja', even though the common folk don't even realize it. You understand what I'm saying? The action is an action of irja', the statement is a statement of irja', and what they're practicing is the madhab of the Murji'ah. Just like with the same thing with a non-Muslim. We say with the non-Muslims, well, you can't call a kafir because he doesn't even know he's a kafir. We say, yeah, even though he doesn't realize it, he's still a kafir. You understand? It doesn't have to have an ilm of the person who is what? Of his hal, his state, to say that he's not that thing. You understand what I'm saying, everyone? The state is this, and just like with the Muslims and what they practice, we say likewise that is a type of irja', and it is. The irja' these days and times is exactly what we're speaking about now, especially when it's widespread amongst the common folk, that the type of irja' that's being practiced is not what they accuse al-Sunnah of. As we'll talk about the author of Abdullah ibn Mubarak, rahimahullah. Well, Abdullah ibn Mubarak, in which he was attacked by the Murji'ah, and he was attacked by the what? The Khawarij, both. In which we'll talk about, and he said in the Athar, Abdullah ibn Mubarak, where he was attacked by both groups, where they both wanted to kill him. And as we talked about now, and we'll talk about how the Khawarij wanted to kill Abdullah ibn Mubarak, they didn't like him, and also likewise the Murji'ah. Because from the asl of the usul you'll find of Ahl Sunnah, that all the people of Ahwa differ as far as in their belief, but in فَلَكِنَّهُمْ اتَّفَقُوا عَلَى السَّيْفِ تفرقوا في أهوائهم ولكنهم اتفقوا على السيف. All of them, they differ as far as in the desires which they deviated in, as far as in the correct aqidah, but they all agreed on the sword. Every single last one of them. There's nobody that's safi, naqi. You'll never find anybody that's clear in the bab of i'tiqad, especially in the aspect of takfir and affairs dealing with the wulat al-umur and dealing with the Muslim rulers and the leaders. There's no sect that is safi, naqi, except Ahl-Sunnah. None. Every single last one of the devious sects, you will find that from them sects that has, if not, all of them have some type of inclination towards takfir, or some type of shedding of blood, or some type of what? Some type of inclination of the sword. It has to be. There's no one that deviates from the aqidah of the Sahaba, except that you will find some type of inclination of takfir and the safe and some weapons and shedding blood somewhere along the lines. It's inevitable. You said everyone? It's 9:40? شو يقول لي لكم يا تريد تؤذن فليتفضل. نريد أن نسمع صوتك الحلو، نسمع صوتك الندي الجوهري. طيب 5 minutes and we'll stop and pray. Unless you guys want to stop here because I think have things to do. Sorry, you guys want to do. طيب, we'll stop here. Any questions? هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
From the Shiite outside of it. When I first heard of it, forgive me, stuff I discounted it. When I first heard of it because of the 12 imams and all of this things that they go into it. But from the Sunnah side of it, I'm learning now that the Mahdi is part of our faith.
Absolutely.
So how is it that I can find out more information about him from the Sunnah side, from the correct side?
You could go back to the books of, even in the Sahihain, Bukhari and Muslim, there's a hadith that talks about the Mahdi. Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Abbad, Hafidhullah, has a book. It's a little risala. It's called Al-Mahdi Al-Muntadhar. I have it in the house. It brings all the ahadith pertaining, all the authentic hadith pertaining to the the awaited or the waiting of the Mahdi. I haven't noticed, it's not translated though. But there is a little risala latifa that he has. There's a hadith that's also in Bukhari and Muslim that talks about the Mahdi. Here's something. I don't think there's nothing in there from Aqidat al-Wasitiyya. This is. It might be something in there. You might, matter of fact, as well. I went through the whole book. We finished it in Philadelphia. I don't remember. Unless it was something that was like a little glimpse of it. Sharh al-Sunnah. Might be something Sharh al-Sunnah. Sound Creed. Something in there about Sheikh Salih Fawzan. You read that. But that's the only thing that I know as far as going into deep details. The only book that I know that really goes into it is that little book that Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Abbad did. He collected all the narrations of the Mahdi and Talha. That little Latif book he had. I have it in my house called Mahdi and Talha. That's what comes to my mind right now. That's it. But that is part of Aqidah and Sunnah that they believe in the Mahdi. Is he not here now? No. There's been a lot of people that so-called describe themselves as being the Mahdi and they're not the Mahdi. Rather, there was a Khariji. It was actually from the Khawarij. Oh, so.
Yeah, I got a question about Wa'idiyya, right? Your Khawarij and the Mu'tazila.
They're all considered Wa'idiyya.
Now, is it more fit to that branch also?
Absolutely. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he says that my ummah is going to break into 73 sects, you'll find that the meaning of the hadith, those are the Usool Al-Firaq. Usool Al-Firaq. They're the basis and the foundation of the deviant sects. Except there's more. There's more than that. There's more deviant sects. Those are just called, those are the Usool Al-Firaq. Like all of the other ones, they go back to those. They're the founders of the other foundations that broke up. Because a person count, they be like, well, if you read the Tariq, for example, read the books Al-Milal al-Nihal, and read those different types of books, you'll find that there's more than 73, 500,000. And they be like, well, they disagree with the Hadith. Because you'll find that the Hadith is just talking about the Usul Firaq of this Ummah. You understand? Except there was Khawarij. There was so many different names. You had the Najdat. There was a book called the Najdat, where they would. Oh man, the Najdat, where, for example, the Najdat was a deviant sect of the Khawarij.
Wow.
Then you had the Zariqa from Nafi' ibn al-Azraq. Nafi' ibn al-Azraq was also from the Khawarij. Then you had, for example, the Ismailiyah. Then you have the Ibadiyah, from people of the Ibadiyah who still talk today from the country of Oman. Then you have the Qaramita. You have the Qaramita. You have the Ibadiyah. They're all Khawarij. Then you have the Najdat. There's a lot of them. The Najdat were a Khawarij, group of the Khawarij, where they made takfir, or they declared certain Muslims to be believers, not based upon all the sins, but some of them. For example, they picked certain sins that if you committed them, you're kafir. But certain other sins, if you committed it, you weren't considered a kafir. The asl of that belief still takes you as being a what? Khariji, regardless. Doesn't matter whether you make tafriq between certain sins or not, it still makes you a what? Khariji, regardless. We're just saying that's another sect of the Khawarij. So they're more. You'll find that they're different in certain ways, in certain instances, but the asl is what? Goes back to that one asl, which is the Khawarij of old, which is the founder of them, who was what? Dhul Khuwaisir al-Tamimi. You understand everyone? But there's more than that. But the thalathatu wa sab'ina firqa that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned and said, those are the usul al-firqa. They're the origin or the founders of the what? The deviant sects. except that they're more, but all the other ones go back to those. Understand, everyone? هذا صلى الله عليه وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت